Hello everyone, I'm Tone300 and welcome back to another episode on GregTech New Horizons. So today I'm going to have a look at some MV quests, particularly the ones titled You're Going to Hate This in MV2. So I think there's 4 or 5 of these. So they start here, You're Going to Hate This in MV. This is number 1, number 2, number 3. Hang on, we've got 5 and 6, where's number 4 then? Oh, down here. Number 4's down here. It's gated behind number 3. So we'll have a look at a few other things as well while we're doing that. I mean, I have been working towards making ethylene and polyethylene. We haven't actually made any yet, but we're working towards it, and I'll explain that a bit better as we go along and show you around what I've been doing. So we'll start off with, you're going to hate this in MV2, number 1. So for this, we just need to make a conveyor module. Sounds easy. But we're going to need a lot of them, that's the only thing. So the first item you'll need a lot of an MV2. If you want to pull items out of chests or barrels, you'll need one way faster than the LV one, so it's actually useful. Yeah, I mean the LV one's like 1 stack every 20 seconds, so this is 1 stack every 5 seconds. So that's going to be a lot quicker and will speed up production on certain items. Sometimes I quite like it being 1 stack every 20 seconds though, because it limits how many items it's pulling. So if we're growing something that's being pulled out, then it's quite useful. But anyway, let's make this. So we're going to need rubber sheets. Now we have a way of making these really easily now, so that's not a problem at all. Copper cables, they're fairly straightforward to make, and we've already made quite a few. I have prepared some of this, so I have been making stuff ready for this episode. But we're going to go through and make everything. We need to make some motors, which I think we covered a few episodes ago. So they're actually quite involved with aluminium rods, magnetic steel rods, and copper nickel wires, 2 times copper nickel wires, and the copper cables. Now I've just heard an Enderman pop up somewhere behind me, or in front of me. They have been visiting a bit more often recently. At the start of the series we was getting visited like every episode, and then they kind of died off a bit and we didn't see any for a while. But recently they've made a comeback, so I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm going to go and check up on the roof. Oh, don't have my piston boots on, let's put those back on. I'm sure I can get up this way. Yeah. Maybe he's inside. Now I can see him on the radar, but he doesn't seem to be anywhere in the base. Okay, well, we're not going to worry about him. He could actually be up there, couldn't he? Let's have a quick look before it's night time. And then we'll skip the night. No, still no sign of him. Okay, let's skip to the morning and start doing some quests. Yes, he's actually disappeared off the map now, which means he's obviously a lot lower. Right, so you're going to hate this too. Let's use... I'm tempted to use these work tables because they're pretty much obsolete now. I mean, this one's kind of still useful, but... most of these things we don't tend to make this way anymore. We use extruders and assemblers and stuff, so... let's have a look what we've got to do. So we want the rubber plates, we want some copper wires and some electric motors. So let's make some electric motors first then. See, we can make these in the assembler. Right, how many should we make? Magnetic steel rods, aluminium rods, copper nickel wires, and copper cables. Right, copper cables are downstairs, which is where I make all my cables now. Next to my huge tank of molten rubber, which is still being filled, by the way. Slowly, but it does get filled. Right, let's take a stack of cables. So while we're here actually, let me just quickly show you this setup. So this centrifuge here, because this is new. Well, I've decided to use our tree farms outside, which were pretty obsolete now, hence we had so many stacks and stacks of rubber wood, as you can see. We've got like 364 stacks of it, so we're using that. We're centrifuging the rubber wood. That gets turned into all of these items here. So we've got carbon dust, we've got plant balls, we've got wood pulp, and we've got sticky resin. So we also get a gas as a byproduct, which is methane gas, which is being stored in a tank behind via this pipe. And what we're doing here is we're basically using the plant balls. So the plant balls are being piped over to a brewery, which we can now make. They get brewed with water, and I think that makes biomass, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it's doing. It's making the biomass. The biomass then goes into the distillery, which it distills into ethanol. Now, this is quite a slow process, so I didn't actually realise how slow it was when I was setting it up, but it is quite a slow process. So the return isn't great, but it is totally renewable, and this is all automated. That will just run and run and run as long as the rubberwood trees are growing. So it's not actually costing me anything other than a bit of EU, a bit of power. So that's making ethanol for me. Later on I'm going to try and turn that ethanol into polyethylene. First of all, I think we have to turn it into ethylene. So yeah, I was trying to click on it to show you, but it doesn't let me from there. So we will get around to making polyethylene and ethylene. That's just the first stage in it. Now I've also, while I'm here, above we have another little setup. So this little setup here is fed from a reed farm. Now the reed farm is harvesting sugar canes into these two barrels. So we then brew some sugar cane and we get reed water. So we brew it with distilled water. Now we're distilling the water here in this distillery, program 5. Just regular water goes in and distilled water comes out. we then, so that's the reed water. Then the reed water goes into a fermenter, which then gets fermented as it's doing right now. That turns into fermented reed water, which gets fed into this distillery, and once it's got enough, that will then, what does that do then? That distills into sugar wine. So all of that process only gives you 7 sugar wine at a time, so 7 litres. Now that is not a lot at all, because as you can see I have some sugar in here and some water cells. The sugar is coming from that other barrel, so it's just getting fed into a basic macerator, macerated into sugar, so that's a quick process and easy. The water's being canned and put into the mixer, and we're just waiting on the sugar wine. Now we need 5,000 litres of this before it would do anything, and when it does, it will make us some rum. Yep, rum. So that will give us 6,000 litres of rum. Now, I do know what I can do with rum, but, well, one, we can drink it of course, but we can use it to get ethanol as well. So I believe we distill it, so 100 litres will turn into 50 litres of ethanol. So, I mean, this is another slow way of getting ethanol as well. So I've got 2 slow methods at the moment. This one actually hasn't produced me anything yet other than some sugar wine, which it's going to take a long time, but again, this is completely renewable and doesn't cost me anything other than power to run it, so it can just sit there and slowly tick away until it makes some rum, and then I can decide whether to keep the rum or distill it into ethanol. So back to making motors. Now I've shown you what else I've been doing. Now all of this is pretty obsolete, isn't it? Because we've automated all of this. So let's try and make some motors in here instead. A lot of this needs to go away though, doesn't it? Or do we just do it in the assembler? I think we'll just do it in the assembler. So magnetic steel rods, aluminium rods and cupronickel wires. As you can see, I've been making stuff ready. Assembling machine, so if we put all this in there, and it's making us some motors. Obviously the program doesn't matter, so. Now we did make some motors a while ago for the quest. Where did I put them? There we go. So that's given us 16 it gave us. Let's use another stack of wires. And we'll put some more cupronickel into there. Okay, so we've got 20 motors, that'll get us started. We should have actually picked up some rubber sheets while we were down there, because that was next to the cables. I'm going to take 3 stacks, and actually we better make some more, because I think we're going to use quite a few. Now the only problem is it's just going to keep making them and making them. Actually no, it's going to make a stack and then stop, isn't it? So unless I put it on auto output. So we'll leave it like this because I don't want to use up all the rubber on the sheets. Okay, so we can make this in the assembler as well. And I think it was the copper cables, wasn't it? We need some more of those. Okay, I'll go ahead and let it make as many as it can, which is going to be 8. Oh, that wasn't too bad, was it? It's because I'm quite well set up now for this, so it does make it a bit easier. So you're going to hate this number 2. We're going to make some electric pumps. I'm guessing these are just as quick as the conveyor version, so about 4 times quicker than LV, hopefully. But let's have a look. So the LV version, 640 litres a second, and yeah, the MV 2560. So yeah, it is 4 times quicker. Yeah, I'm just putting a few items away that we don't need. So motors, rubber rings, bronze rotors, bronze screws, copper cables and steel fluid pipes. Quite an involved one. Well, I have been busy making some stuff ready. So, steel fluid pipes. I've moved all the pipes to a chest, didn't I, around here somewhere? Cables, pipes. Oh, we do have a few more copper cables in here if we need them. Okay, so 6 items in total got to go in the assembler. There we go, that's making our pumps. So that's number 1 and 2 done. We've got a couple of loot bags. Oh, a bee house. Let's see what else we can get. Oh, some polyethylene sheets. Nice. And some Damascus steel ingots. Okay, not too bad. I'm going to put these in here with all the other sheets and plates and covers and stuff. In fact, I can probably put some of these rubber sheets in here as well. So, number 3, the electric piston. Right, so I've made some gears ready for this. We've got plates in the chest we just saw, and aluminium rods we have as well. This bee house can go in this chest. We have a lot of loot bags with LV to open, don't we? We should get round to that. Okay, let's go for this in the assembler again. Oh, hang on, what's it doing? MV machine casing. I didn't want to make that yet. Let's try and put them in this order. So motors, plates, rods. It's still trying to make something else. It's using up all the aluminium plates for making these machine casings. Ah, I'm on program 1, that's why. Alright, what program do we need to be on? There, we don't need a program at all. Here we go. Okay, so that's made our pistons. Number 4, the robot arm. Alright, so we know we've only got a couple of motors left. Ah, good circuits. So this might hold us up a little bit. Let's have a look. I mean, normal circuits we're fine on. Good circuit boards. Yeah, so I need to set this up, don't I? Wood pulp, refined glue in an assembler. That's not much for reward, is it? Seeds. Okay, so in my circuit factory we know we're making circuits, but I've also set up over here, this is like a new area that I'm expanding at the moment. So we've got a couple of centrifuges working. These are centrifuging sticky resin into plant balls. But a byproduct of that is refined glue. So we've got quite a bit now, 220,000 litres, that's not too bad. So we're going to use these for the circuit boards. I'll need to set up another circuit assembly line. I don't know if it's going to be as involved as the LV version, but I do want to make making circuits a bit easier. Obviously these are easy to make now for us. The good circuit boards are not too bad to set up, I don't think. So yeah, just gold wires and that phenolic circuit board. Okay, so gold wires should be fairly straightforward for us to get. We are using all of our copper production at the moment. We're good on iron and we're good on gold. So we can use one of these barrels to set up some for gold wires and set up our circuit boards. We'll have to run some more pipes, of course. I mean, have you had a look around here? I'm sure you have, but it's all been nicely tidied up down here. I'm not sure if I ever showed this in an episode or not. I must have done. It really is a thing of beauty, the pipe work here. I haven't been down here for a while actually. I do like it. Yes, all our Auberry assembly line. It's fairly straightforward. We just grow the Auberries. They're growing above these blocks. They're being macerated, compressed, and furnaced into ingots, and then pipes up to our circuit factory. Right, how are we doing here? So we're processing a load of nickel ore basically, so once it's furnaced it does end up over here. So we've got exactly 4 stacks. I'll keep an eye on that, see if it goes up. Because at the moment, yeah, the roasted nickel dust is going into that barrel. So I'm not sure what's going into here. So obviously it gets washed, there's a chance we're going to get nickel dust. Gets forge hammered into the purified version, centrifuged into roasted nickel dust with a chance of nickel dust again. So yeah, at some point I'll run this through either the EBF or the bricks blast furnace, don't know yet. Probably the EBF. So I'm guessing we have been making some nickel dust as well. So we have some up here, but I don't know what I had before to be honest, so leave that running. So back to this one and making circuits. Yeah, really, I think I need to set something up for these MV circuits before I go any further with these. I want a more easy way of making these. I don't just want to sort of get all the items together and have to go and use the assembler. I want its own dedicated setup. So yeah, we'll have a look into that. That's the first 3 completed. I think we'll do the next 3 on the next episode. But meanwhile, we can set up some sort of assembly line for it. I'm going to have a think about what I want to do with that. Biofuels, I definitely want to get into this as well. You've been using steam, creosote and possibly oil plus their byproducts to generate power. It's time to start making biodiesel. The first step is to make plant balls out of organic materials. Well, we've been doing that. You can use wheat, sugarcane, apples, saplings or well practically anything. Indigo blossoms are 4:1 and unlike the rest of the IC2 crops with the same ratio, not really useful for anything else. Okay. Realistically, you'll probably just use saplings though, since you'll want-need a tree farm anyway. Be sure you have a forestry multi-farm Steve Cart's farm, IC2 crop sticks with a harvester or whatever because you need plenty of biomaterials for constant biodiesel production. Okay, let's find some apples and wheat and let's get this complete. Barley, where's the wheat? There's some wheat, but not quite enough. Apples. So we've definitely got enough apples. I wonder if we've got any hay bales anywhere. We do. Extractor. I was quite surprised we didn't have more wheat anywhere. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like we seem to be growing any wheat. twice. No. Okay. That's fine. Just trying to find somewhere to put a few items. In fact, the apples can go back. The wheat needs a home, really, doesn't it? Okay, so that's unlocked plant balls. Compress the plant balls out of your wheat. MV compressor is twice as fast. Oh yeah, it uses 4 times the power. Okay, yeah, so you might think this means it's a good idea to use it, but it actually isn't. You would be wrong. So because it's using 4 times the power, we're spending 4 times the EU to get the same amount of EU twice as fast. Eventually you end up with an EU deficit. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it's something to think about with fuel production, isn't it? If we use MV machines, they are going to use 4 times the power, so if we're using them to create power, then it might not be a good idea. Oh, we get a circuit as a reward for this. Right, I definitely have 64 plant balls. Okay, there's another quest done. We really do need to clean out this inventory though, don't we? Way too much stuff. So plant mass, biochaff, bioorganic mesh. It's just interesting to see where this is actually going to lead me. Ah, okay. Alright, so it's going to lead me into different ways of making a biomass. I mean, we are actually already making biomass as well, which we did have a look at earlier. Now, the way I chose earlier was using the brewery, and that turns it into the biomass, which I'm then distilling into ethanol. Okay, so this is going to explain a few other ways of making biomass, and it could actually be really useful. So way 1, IC2 fluid canner, way 2 brewery, which we are doing, way 3 pyrolyzed oven. But if we do the advanced brewery, this can be a lot faster, isn't it? So if you're lucky and find some brewing stands, or have started using Thorncraft to make one, you can craft a brewery, which we can. We'll use the Thorncraft way. You get 1000 MB of biomass out of 1000 MB of water and 1 biochaff. Use distilled water to get a better ratio and a much faster recipe. Right, we're going to need circuits again. Okay, so I'm looking like I'm getting stuck as to where I can advance without making circuits. So I'm going to go away and see what I can set up for circuits. And then we'll be back with another episode, I think. So, yeah, let me have a think about it. I'm going to have a think about the best way of making good circuits for MV. And it's not going to be a completely amazing setup yet, but I'm definitely going to set something good up. So do come back for the next episode, because there will be a little surprise, no doubt. You know what I'm like. Once I get started, I tend to go a bit over the top and make things a bit differently. So yeah, let me have a think about it, and we'll be back for another one soon. Hope you have enjoyed it, and do subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave me some comments. Let me know how you make your circuits and what you think I should maybe think about doing. Yeah, and we'll see you again very soon for another episode. Thanks again, everyone, and see you soon. Bye for now.